Hi everyone. Um, Here for math. This week we're going to be working on integers, which we started in the classroom before we left. So integers are positive and negative numbers, just as a reminder. And we're going to be starting learning how to add and subtract, multiply and divide integers. So this week we're just going to be working on adding integers. So I made you a little chart and some notes so that you guys have an idea of what to do. So easy does it to start. Positive plus positive equals positive. So for an example, 2 plus 5 equals 7. Just what you've learned since you were young. Then you also have the combination of a negative number and a negative number. So negative plus negative is going to be the same thing, just as a negative number. So for our example, we have negative 2 plus a negative 5, and that's going to equal negative 7. Notice how I put this negative 5 in parentheses. I did that because you don't want to have something looking like this. A negative 2 plus a negative 5. Look at how many kind of signs there are. So if you have two signs in a row like that, just make sure you kind of put them in parentheses so it doesn't get too confusing. So negative 2 plus a negative 5 equals negative 7. Now, all of this can always be done on a number line, and I did draw out a number line for you. I'm not sure if you could see it. So for an example, we have our positive 2 starting here plus my positive 5. So I'm going towards my positive side 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's my 7. I also could have done my negative 2, and I'm adding a negative 5, so I'm going towards my negative side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's my negative 7. So there's just the proof of where those answers came from. Lastly, the harder one is when you're adding integers, sometimes you can have opposite signs, meaning you might be adding together a positive with a negative or a negative with a positive, either way. So we have to have some rules for when we do those. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to think about those numbers as their absolute values. So you're going to subtract them with their absolute values. So in other words, I have, in my example, negative 2 plus 5. So think of their absolute values. I have sorry, those are a little faint. I have a 5 and a 2. I'm going to subtract 5 minus 2, and I get 3. Then my next rule says to take the sign of the larger digit. Well, 5 is bigger than 2, and 5 is positive, so my answer is a positive 3. My next example is the same thing, it's just opposite. So 2 is a negative 5. So again, I'm going to take those digits of what they are. So my 5 minus my 2, and that equals a 3. And then I look at which one's my bigger value, and that's my 5. So my 5 has a negative sign with it, so that 3 becomes a negative 3. Again, this can also be done on a number line. So I start here at my negative 2. I'm going to do this in a different color. I have one. I'm going to start here at my negative 2. I don't know if you could see that. You probably can't. And then I'm going to go positive 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here it is at my 3. I also could have started at 2 for this problem and go negative 5. So towards the negative side, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. I hope this all makes sense to you. Adding integers. We're going to do subtraction next week. But we're going to practice this week. You guys are going to have a couple of games and activities that you guys will do, and we will take kind of a little quiz and do some worksheets and that kind of thing to keep practicing adding integers. Reach out if you have any questions, and hope everyone's doing well. Miss you.